Power shot.
I need that belt wrapped around my waist anyway.
Strange belt call out considering he's lost his last two fights.
Masvidal wants to act all hard. He knows, and I know, who's going to win that fight.
How do you beat him?
Any way I want. I'm going to whip George's ass, and that's going to be the end of it.
I'm ranked 5 spots ahead of you, Jorge.
His whole vocabulary consists of 4-letter words. He's not going to add a lot to the press conference, for God's sake.
Right.
George says, I'm making excuses. I don't want to fight you.
And he knows he can't come up and sucker punch me if we're in the octagon with the referee. He knows he has to deal with me for 15 minutes.
Yeah, they need to keep the idiot away from me. I mean, I'm paid to fight in the octagon.
He's pissed that a punk white kid has came into the UFC and is making over double him, and I've had no history in the UFC.
Well, I got a question. All these reporters ask me why you're so mad. I'm kind of curious.
I'm not mad.
You are mad. Yeah, you can't stand me. Why not? Answer all them. Why are you so mad? Why are you so mad, bro?
Funny though, man.
Why are you mad, bro?
He's brought up something. In 2008, he went down to American Top Team, and he said you two went at it. You got on the match together,
Yeah.
and he says that he schooled you. Those are his words. And I've been wanting to ask you about that. You know, do you have any recollection of what happened in 2008 when you two
I
met?
definitely got recollection of it, but I mean, it's such a home move that to talk about training. I don't talk about my sparring sessions. Most don't. That's the type of person that he is. But I'll tell you this much: he didn't school me.
Flapping guns at each other. Any chance they get. The fight clock is brought to you by
Why the flying knee?
Because he's a bum.
I saw some criticism. People say the punches weren't really necessary.
They
Maybe
were super necessary.
why were they necessary?
What do you mean? Why were they not necessary?
Because he was already knocked out at that point.
But the referee hadn't pulled me off, and my job is to hit somebody till the referee pulls me off. So to those people, I would say maybe don't watch him and maybe go back to soccer.
I saw some other criticisms, perhaps, of your celebration afterwards. Any regrets at the celebration or your behavior in the cage afterwards?
Man, there's not too many people that I've disliked. I have over 50 pro fights, and he's one of them. You know, we talked about my manhood, talked about my culture, my ethnicity. Where do we draw? Why do certain people get to do stuff? You online, so you can do anything. Everything is cool before a fight. You're allowed to do and say whatever you want, like other fighters are not doing. Talking about people's religions, wife, even kids. That's cool. But after a fight, I'm not allowed to showboat and rub it in your face. So you and guys like you could see it and be like, maybe I don't talk so much because when I cross one of these real motherfuckers, they're gonna make me pay for it, man. They're gonna embarrass the shit out of me. And it's not over for Ben either. He still has to deal with me. If I see him at Whole Foods, I'm gonna still slap that dude up because I don't like him.
Well, I'm not a street fighter. Did I have fights in the street? Yeah, but that was because I've submerged myself in only fighting. So to label me a street fighter, it would be disrespectful. And I've always thought even when I was already 5-6 years of pro, people would recognize me and say, hey, you're that street fighter. I fought in the street, but doesn't mean I'm a street fighter. You know, my levels have way surpassed that. You know, you could say I have the characteristics of a street fighter at any time, any place, but my skill level was not that of a street fighter.
Go back to kind of Miami, like you're in Miami, like through and through. How much of that kind of do you think comes out in your style and makes you kind of a little bit different than other people? Just kind of like the world you grew up in, the world you live in. How much do you pull on that?
Miami for athletics, the ones that get to that level of certain athletics, you'll notice they all have a chip in the shoulder and they all have a lot of swag. It's just something we have in Miami. We kind of feel like the whole country is against us in a lot of sports, you know, like we don't get the media and the coverage. So when we get to that point, you see that not only do we take over the craft like we do in football, they do in basketball, Miami natives be murdering in all sports. And you're gonna notice always a huge chip on the shoulder because the country was kind of like, dissing us on the way up, or at least we feel that way. So now once we're here, we gotta feel the chip on the shoulder and the swag, you know? It's Miami shit, you know? You can see on Miami, as soon as I walk in that bitch, everybody knows I'm from Miami.
And you kind of, because you walk in, you're calm. You don't have that, like, you know.
That's because I'm from Miami, you know? It's a fist fight, you couldn't even tell I'm happy as a kid in the candy shop when it's fight time. So it's not just that I'm from Miami, but it's what I love to do. So it's when I'm at my happiest is when I'm in the cage. I know it sounds crazy, and if I was to explain it to regular people, it'd be like, yeah, you need medicine, which I do take. I don't think it's as crazy as that. Since growing up, this place that was a temple for me was the gym. So if I had like a bad day, if I didn't have food, if whatever happened that was bad, I'd go to the gym and And as crazy it might sound, fighting with people trying to take my head off, throwing punches at my head, and me returning that was like always my safe zone. So I always just had a shitty day, and I mean, if I could just make it to the gym, I'll go to sleep just fine and repeat the cycle. And I didn't like really being out at one point. So when I'm here in the cage, it's the same thing. I'm back in the gym. So I love it, you know. Maybe 40, 50 years from now, I'll sit down and be like, yeah, that was a little crazy, but right now I don't think that it's crazy at all. It's just what I enjoy doing. Michael Jordan went and played a pickup game at whatever age or whenever the fuck, you'd be like, man, it's Jordan, of course, you know. It's the same thing for fighting. I've been doing it since a child, so I love to compete, you know, because it's a primal like thing. These hormones get released that you can't feel them nowhere else and nothing else. You just don't feel them. It's only at that moment that your body releases those endorphins mixed with adrenaline, mixed with all types of, I don't know what components that the scientists need to figure out, and then make this amazing drug that you feel through your body. And as you're fighting, you're feeling it the whole time. It's not just at the beginning or the end. No, it's like the whole time I'm feeling this, you know, like super slow-mo, you know, like at that particular time, I'm not like all human. I'm not saying I'm God or nothing like that, but at that particular time, I'm not exactly human. You know, I could see a lot of things in slow motion. My adrenaline is just making me go through pain, through fatigue, through anything. It's a beautiful feeling.